Hey, what is going on, guys? This is SMEB Reviews, and today we are taking a look at the comeback album from Avril Lavigne titled Head Above Water. So let's get to it. I have a ton of respect for Avril Lavigne. I've never really dug into a lot of her past work, but all of the hits and the songs that I have caught have really stood out to me. She's a fun pop star, and obviously she's not making some of the most intricate or experimental sort of music, but in a purely pop sense, she's a lot of fun, and I do really enjoy her music. So I was actually really excited. I came into this album really wanting to like it. I also really liked that lead single. I didn't really catch any of the other singles, but Head Above Water is an excellent lead single, and I was really excited. I had a lot of hope for it, and like I said, I really wanted to like this album. Unfortunately, I feel kind of let down. There's a lot of reasons. I'll start off with saying that I feel let down because I do feel like that lead single and that first track on the album is the greatest moment on this album, and it's a very good moment. It is a good song, and by no means am I trying to diminish that song. But it's also got this very grand, sweeping production. It shows Avril at some of her best lyrically and vocally on this album, and it's a very impressive song. And we get a couple more songs. I will honestly say that there is a good set of about 3 songs at the start of this album. Head Above Water, Birdie, and I Fell in Love with the Devil. All 3 of those songs are really good with this big, grand production, which is something different for her. It's not typical for her more pop, angsty sort of sound, but it worked. I actually thought it was a really good sound, one that I actually really appreciated. With really grand production, with string sections, it complements her well, and it's a nice take. So we have 3 songs that all kind of fit one sort of mold. And it seems like so much time was put into these songs. Production-wise, vocally from Avril, they really are highlights. And then it starts to taper off. It seems like the production becomes more minimalistic, almost giving me the impression that they spent a lot of the production budget on those 3 songs specifically, possibly even the 4th. And then we get a lot of very minimalistic-like songs near the end of the album, or, well, the rest of the album, that seem like they just blew all the budget. They also are much weaker lyrically, as Head Above Water, the lead single. It's a track where she's crying out to God to help her and keep her head above water. It's a completely desperate attempt at just needing help from someone. It's heart-wrenching, and her vocal delivery really sells that emotion. And then we get songs near the end of the album that just do quite the opposite. They have no real lyrical depth, and they're just uninteresting. This album does put its best foot forward. It really does. We get, like I said, some of the bad tracks near the end are songs like Crush, which is supposed to be a play on words, but the production is so minimalistic and dragging that it really holds the song back. Then we have songs like Souvenir, where it's an obvious sentiment of just keeping someone as a souvenir. It just doesn't highlight anything. It's not highlighting Avril's vocals or any form of lyrics or production choice. It's just there. We have a song like Goddess, which, why did she pronounce banana like that? Unrelated, not really a criticism, just a eye roll moment. And that's the thing. This album really just becomes a sort of roller coaster. You have songs that are absolutely beautiful, like I said, I know I keep mentioning Head Above Water, the title track, but it is a gorgeous track. I Fell in Love with the Devil is another beautiful track that I absolutely love. And then we have songs like Dumb Blonde and the 3 songs that I just mentioned that all are just eye-roll inducing. And honestly, I'll forgive Dumb Blonde more than a lot of people will. It's a decently fun track that I'm neutral on ultimately. But the thing is, it doesn't fit sonically with the album, because it sits right next to a very Adele-esque sort of piano ballad that comes right after it. It's a very strange and jarring transition, and it just shows that this album just kind of feels all over the place. Because there are some real, genuine highlights here, but then there are some songs that are just so incredibly lacking in so many fields. I want to like this album. Like I said, Avril has an incredible voice, and I do love her stuff. And yes, this, at least at the beginning, I had the impression that this would be a little more serious of an album, and ultimately it is a little more serious than her typical album. But it is still, it is held back. It's held back because so many of these songs are so jarring and don't have the right sentiment, the right production. I want to like it, and I just can't. And I think that that really sums up the album. It's inconsistent, and it doesn't really have quite the focus that it needs. Again, I'm actually an Avril Lavigne. I like Avril Lavigne's music. I wanted to support this album, but it just didn't give me quite enough reason to. It was lackluster, very slapdash, and like I said, we lead off with such a beautiful set of 3 songs I do seriously, truly enjoy. And then kind of, it just tapers off after that. And it's unfortunate. And like I said, it does kind of seem like a lot of the production was spent on those 3 songs with how grand and orchestral they can be. Which, again, orchestral really actually does complement Avril. And I have to say, it's a sound that I want her to keep exploring because I really did like it. It's not a perfect album, that's for sure, but it does have its redeeming moments. It does. I actually did enjoy a portion of this album, and ultimately, even its low moments aren't the worst thing in the world. So, ultimately, it's a fairly inoffensive release that I think I'm going to give a 6.5 out of 10. But what did you guys think of this album? Please let me know down below. Also, is there anything I can do to improve the quality of my videos or any upcoming albums you'd like me to check out? I do have a Twitter if you want to check it out. The link is in the description. Besides that, thank you guys so incredibly much for watching this video. It really does mean a lot to me. I appreciate the fact that people come back and actually watch my videos. That's incredible. And hey, we're at about 250 subscribers, give or take 1 or 2, depending on when this goes up. And that's awesome. Thank you guys so much. I'm so excited for this. This channel has done very well, and I'm very excited for it, and I intend to keep putting out content for you guys. So I appreciate each and every one of you, and I'll see you guys later.